Sure, I'm 7. I'm 5.
And then we're going to get, Becca's going to come up and speak to you about colleges, and Mr. Winter's going to go through the main part of the session.
Good morning, Year 10. Good morning, quite joyous and nice and basic from the lads. Good morning. What a great quote. We'll start off by looking at that actually, because that is a great quote. It is always impossible until something's done. And we always say, well, that can't be achieved until it's done. And then suddenly more and more people start doing that very thing. And that links really well to what I want to talk about this morning, which is quite simple. We are what we think about. So let's just look at those words for a moment and let's think about those words. We are what we think about. This is one of the best messages that I can think of giving somebody and that has made a difference to me in my life. We are what we think about. So then, what is it that you think about? What is it? What are the things that you concentrate on and that you focus on? What are the things that you think about? And as we go about exploring that a little bit over the next few minutes, what I want you to do is pick up a pencil, get it at the back of the envelope that you've got, or a piece of paper in front of you, and we're going to do a bit of word association. I'm going to give you a word, and I'm going to give you 10 seconds to write something down, the first thing that pops into your head when you see that word. Does that make sense? Okay, there's a few grunts, thanks Lydia. Audience participation. So, first word, positive. 10 seconds, I put positive. What are you thinking? Write it down. Okay, stop there please. Have a look round, maybe have a look at the person next to you. What have they put? You might not want to share, but please do. It's always good to share. Next word. Next word, you're going to have 10 seconds on this one too. Here it is. Negative. Okay, Lydia, I'm with you. Okay, put your pencils down and turn around. Positive and negative, two important words. I'm quite interested in what people have written down there. I'm quite interested when I did this myself. Because when you look at the word positive, certain things start to come into your head. Words like, and I wrote these down, success, that's one. Some people have written down success, win, and strong. There were three words that I wrote down. When I see the word positive, I think about success, I think about win, I think about strong. Looking around people here, they've got things like happy, they've got things like good. Lydia had the opposite of positive, being negative. But most people here are putting down words which are connected to being positive. And exactly the same with negative. When I did negative, I had words like give up, lose, and defeat. And people have put things down, bad, wrong. And it's very important that we just spend a second to think about our responses to those words. Because I think that if I came to you and said that you could be a person with more energy, you'd be up for it. If I said to you, you could be more creative. If I said to you, you could be easier, better to work with and have more friends. And if I said to you, you could be more successful, and here's how you do it, I think every one of you would say, oh, I want some of that, sir. I want some of that. I think every one of you would say, I'd love to have more energy, I'd love to get better answers and be more creative, I'd love to be better at what I do and want people to work with me, and I'd also like to be more successful, of course you would. And they're the benefits of that first one being positive. They're the things that we get when we start to think positively. Going back to the first thing we talked about, we are what we think about. They're real benefits of positive thinking. Words like success, win, and strong. And if I did say, well, let's look at being positive just for a moment. Because if we look at being positive, we're going to have more energy towards life. You know what it's like when you've got a positive mindset towards something. Think about something in your life that you love to do, whether it's skateboarding, art, singing, dancing, acting, sport. Whatever it is, think about something you really enjoy doing. Then think about the energy level that you have when you go and do that very thing. You're up for it, you've got energy, you're ready to go. That's first point. Second point is about being more creative. Wouldn't it be great if when you had a problem given to you, you had more ideas and more solutions to go at? Imagine that in an exam situation. Imagine that in your coursework, having more options available to you. Would you want that? Of course you would. Why does that happen? Well, when we're negative, we're very focused and narrow in the way that we use our brain. Research tells us that the more positive you are, the more neural pathways you will use. The more neural pathways you use, the more creative you are, therefore the more successful you will be. Point 4. And point 3 is about you and the kind of person that you are, whether people want to work with you and people want to be around you. Everyone likes to be around people who are positive, people who have energy. So that's about being positive. And if I said to you, you can have all those things, now, here you go, I don't think there's a person in here that say, oh, that's not for me, Mr. Povey. I'm alright, thanks. I don't want to be more creative, I don't want to be more popular, I don't want to be more successful, I don't want to have more energy, I don't want those 4 things. I'm quite happy without those things. Everybody wants that. I want that. Mr. Alan, Mr. Ince. I think everybody in the room would want that. So why is it then, if it's so important when we talk about this being positive, why is it then that we're not positive? If we know these things, why is it that as human beings, as young people, as adults, we very often don't do enough about being positive? We very often look at the negative. We very often do. We look at the things about giving up, losing, being defeated, bad, unhappy, things you've written down. So why is it we do that? If we know the importance of positive attitudes and positive belief, why is it then that we have the negative thoughts? Why do we go through that process? Well, here's the answer, quite simple. I looked into this for you over half term. Because when I was planning this, I spoke to Miss Allen and said, what is it you want me to talk about at the beginning of this student conference with Year 10s? And Miss Allen said, do a bit of motivation. I'm trying to do that, and I'll try and do that. But could you talk about being positive? One of my favourite topics. You can only ask any of the senior teachers in the school, they'll say Mr. Povey always loves being positive. And I do, because I think it's important for the reasons I've said. But when I was looking at being positive, or talking to you about the positive, we need to understand why then we're negative. Because if it's so much better to be positive, why is it that we're negative? Well, quite simple, that's how our minds are built. You think about whether you believe in evolution or not. Well, you think about when we were cavemen and cavewomen, we were built to protect ourselves. We are in survival mode. We look for threats. We look for the things that will bring us down. Whether it's a saber-toothed tiger or whether it's someone having a go at us. We are built, our minds are built to protect ourselves. So if we are built in that way to look for threats, we are actually programmed in our minds, we are programmed to look for negative things. We're programmed, first response, to be negative. That's why it's so difficult to get ourselves to be positive. Because very often we're looking for the things that will do us down, that will bring us down. And we're protecting ourselves from the negative. Therefore our minds get in that negative mindset and look for the negative rather than looking for the positive. So it's important that we understand that the way that we think, the way that we believe ourselves to be, will influence our attitude, and our attitude influences our performance. The power of our mind is really, really important. And if you think that with your GCSEs this year and next year that it's going to happen by luck, you're kidding yourselves. Because it's not. I've never seen anybody walk out of a school with a fantastic set of results because of luck. I've never seen a professional sports person succeed at the very best of their sport because of luck. And I've never seen anybody win the X Factor or be a talented artist because of luck. Luck for me should stand for labour under correct knowledge. It's about graft and it's about doing things in the right way. Labour under correct knowledge. That's what luck is. Luck doesn't exist, folks. And the way that we think about ourselves, the way that we consider how successful we can be, which is what we're here to do today, is going to be really, really important. And it's going to make the difference. So make sure you engage with this today. I'm going to finish off with a story. And this is from my dear mother. She rang me earlier this week and she said, "Have you read this story?" And I said, "No." So she's given me the story and it was so important I thought I'd bring it today. This is how powerful the mind can be. And I'm going to share this with you. But this is about the power of the mind. Some of you are going to be a bit sceptical of this, but it is a true story. So I'll read it now. Nick was a tough guy with a bad outlook. He worked on the railways, and one night, after his fellow workers had gone home, he accidentally locked himself in a refrigerated carriage. He worried that the temperature was below freezing, and he yelled out for help, to no avail. The more he thought about the situation, the colder he felt, until eventually he started shivering uncontrollably. Convinced he was dying, he wrote a letter to his family outlining that had happened, and the next morning they found Nick's body. An autopsy revealed that he indeed had frozen to death. The investigators discovered, however, something puzzling. The carriage in which Nick was trapped was out of order and had been disconnected. The night he froze to death, the temperature in the boxcar was 16.1 degrees, just below room temperature. But because he expected to die, he lost the battle in his mind. What do you believe about your life is more important than what other people believe. Now that story is quite a powerful story, and it gives a very strong message about the power of your belief. So just to recap, I'm going to go back to that original quote of mine. What you think about is the way that we actually are. And it's really important that you understand that. As you go through this process with Mr. Ince this morning, about thinking about your targets, about your grades, about thinking about where you're going to be at the end of this year and at the end of next year, make sure you think about the positive. Enhance the positive and use the positive, because it can be the difference between you being successful and you not being successful. The power of belief and the attitude you carry with you will definitely impact on your performance. I hope you have a good morning. The things planned here are very exciting. Engage in it, enjoy it, get the most out of it. This is about you knowing yourself, and it's about you growing yourself. Okay, thank you.
I'm just going to hand you over to Becky now.
Yeah. Got me there then, though. Keep going.
It looks amazing.
One more time.